Alright, so hello and welcome to another Warframe video. Here are the top primary weapons in Warframe. Keep in mind that I'm recording this at the beginning of Update 9, so if you're watching this at a later date, there may be better weapons out at that point in time. But for now, here are the best weapons in Warframe. Now, I'm going to be going by how resource heavy the weapon is, and its damage over time. If you don't get that, then that means it's just how much damage over a certain amount of time it does. It's not really that complicated, but that's how it is. So, the more damage in the shorter amount of time, the better, and vice versa, the worse. There are four main categories for primary weapons: rifles, shotguns, snipers, and special. And I'm going to start off with rifles, so here we go. Alright, so the top three weapons in Warframe would be the Gorgon, with its high damage, high rate of fire, and gigantic clip size. Also, the Bolter, with kind of the same features but less, and the Latron, which is just regularly better than most other weapons like the Braton or Burston, or yeah, just like those aren't that good, and same with the Graka, they're not. Grakta, I don't really know how to pronounce most of these words, so if I'm saying them wrong or whatever, just try and disregard it. I'm gonna show pictures of whatever it is, so it doesn't matter. So anyways, the technically number one spot for most damage, most amount of time, and just like pure everything would be the Gorgon. If you want to have the best weapon in the game for rifles, Gorgon. And I mean like in technically like just like from the market. If you go to the dojo, there's actually a better version of the Gorgon. It's kind of like a remake, does more damage, more bigger clip size, and whatever. But anyways, if you want to get something from the market and you want the best gun, get the Gorgon. It's ridiculously good. It does 2,000 damage over its gigantic clip size and damage. It has a ridiculously high rate of fire, and you will just be blowing everything out of your way. Now, keep this in mind that there is a ridiculously high amount of resources that you need to put into the Gorgon. There's about 5 Morphics. Doesn't seem like a lot, but it's actually kind of a bit of farming. There's 5,000 salvage, or 6,000 salvage, I'm not exactly sure, but I'm pretty sure there's either 4,000 or 5,000 ferrite that goes into it, along with, I think, 1,000 rubido. So that is a crap load of farming for the Gorgon, so that's why the Gorgon actually comes in second place. But if you want the most damage possible, get the Gorgon. If you are just with this game all the way and you will do whatever it takes to get the highest amount of damage, the Gorgon wins. But if you're just a casual player, which is what I am, and I would be going by that also, it's not really like, oh, well, I'm just going to be, like, I just want the best gun that I can get in my sort of area. I would be going with the Bolter. The Bolter is pretty much half of the Gorgon. It does half the amount of damage in half the amount of time, and it's honestly, that's the Bolter is ridiculously good in the good in the first place, and just like honestly, I played with it. It's very well done. You can go through anything in the first place, like you could just rip through enemies anyways. So with the Gorgon, it's like you're just like, it's like a knife through butter with the Gorgon, but it's just like, or a hot knife through butter with the Gorgon, but with the Bolter, it's just like a knife going through butter. It still works, but it's not super easy, And that's also what I kind of like about the Bolter. It takes a little bit of skill to do it, but with the Gorgon, it's just ridiculous. I see people use it, and I'm like, it's so hard to compete with them. It's just like they just blow everything out of their way. Now for the Latron, it's just not as good in general. It just is better than the Burston, the Braton, and the Graka, whatever, whatever. I don't care. Due to the fact that this does 9 damage, it does have a clip size of 60, but it's just not worth it. The Bolter has a clip size of 60 and it does 18 damage, so you might as well just get the Bolter anyways. The Bolter for resources is extremely low. It's not that hard. I can't off the top of my head just figure it out, but it's pretty much the same as the Latron, but the Bolter is better, and the Latron actually has a little bit more resources for it. So really and truly, the Bolter wins in my opinion. It's so far the number one rifle that I would suggest anybody to get if they're just a casual or good player at Warframe. But if you want the best, get the Gorgon. Alright, so the top 3 shotguns are going to be the Sobek coming in first, the Boar coming in second, and the Heck coming in third. The Strun coming in last, of course, due to the fact that there's only 4 shotguns and it's just not up to par with all the other ones. Now you might be wondering, well, the Strun does 130 damage and the Sobek does 40 damage. You know, like, that kind of sounds not too great. Not to mention the Heck coming in third does 140 damage and coming in second does 72 damage. I know it kind of sounds stupid in how the lower the damage, the better almost, except for the Heck and the Strun, of course. But due to the fact of its gigantic clip size for a shotgun, of course, the 20 clip size, it's worth it. It does 800 damage over the 720 damage of the Boar, and the Heck only does about 500, 600 damage due to the fact that it's 140 times 4. It's just not really going to be up to par. But the thing is, though, is the reason that the Heck came in third instead of the Strun coming in. Okay, well, that doesn't. It makes sense of why the Heck comes in third, but just the fact that the Heck honestly can blow through enemies. Like, if you run around the map and you just shoot, you will kill most of your enemies in one shot. For me, that's why I use it. This is why I have the Heck for my arsenal. But the thing is, though, is that I'm working on getting the Sobek, actually. I'm just down here. Sobek right here. It is kind of resource heavy. The circuits are super easy to get. Salvage is super easy to get. Polymer bundle is super easy to get. The only hard part is the neurodes. I'm kind of working my way on that, but that's about that. It's just not that hard to get. The Heck, on the other hand, pretty resource heavy. I would say about medium-sized resource heavy. The Strun is 7,500 credits. There is no resources to it. It's just playing in general. You'll get the Strun. And the Boar, I'm not exactly sure what the resources are, but I'm fairly certain it's just like the Sobek. Not too much, but, you know, there's 1 or 2 things that you're going to have to farm a little bit for. But yeah, the Heck, you can run through the level, you can blow the brains out of whoever you want immediately. But for the Sobek, it's damage over time is what I'm looking at, and that's why the Sobek comes in first, and that's why the Heck doesn't come in first. Or, no, same with the Boar. Just because the Sobek has slightly more damage, and the Heck doesn't have as much damage as either the Sobek or the Boar. Of course, it has a little bit more damage than the Strun, so that's why it comes in third. But it's just, really and truly, I would have to say the Sobek and the Heck come, like, neck and neck, honestly, in just a general opinion of just playing the game. I have the Heck right now, but I'm trying to get the Sobek due to the fact that it's just better. And honestly, I'd rather be able to kill bosses really fast instead of having to kind of waste my time a little bit on it, almost, with the Heck. But it's there for you. Basically, it's all on personal things. I want the Sobek due to the fact that it's better, technically. But also the Heck has its advantages too, along with every gun. Some are not up to par with others, but they still have their, their ups and their downs. It's just how it is, and the fact that there's only 4 shotguns isn't really helpful, but the Sobek wins. Overall, Sobek. So if you're gonna get a gun, get the Sobek, but if you don't really like the fully automatic thing, or you want to just blow your brains out, or blow enemies' brains out across whatever you want, the Heck. Get the Heck. But Sobek wins. That's about that. So let's move on to snipers. Alright, so there are 2 snipers in this game. There's the Vulker, which is this gun, and there's the Snipertron, which I can't find for the life of me in here. I don't know why, but it's just not in here. Like, I don't see it. Like, it's all pistols and secondary, and here's the primary, kinda. And I just don't see anything. There's no Snipertron anywhere. Like, I even looked through the blueprints. There's no Snipertron. So, I don't know if there's a glitch or anything, but either way, the Vulker wins just barely due to the fact that the Snipertron does 100 damage and the Vulker does 125 damage. Sadly, I can't bring up a picture of it in Warframe. You could easily look on the wiki. It says 100 damage. At least that's when I saw it, and it says 100 damage. It has technically a slower reload rate. It actually reloads at 4 seconds for the Vulker, but the Snipertron loads at 3.8 seconds. So if the 2 milliseconds that actually you needed to shoot something, then okay, the Snipertron I guess kind of wins. But overall, just get the Vulker. And for whatever reason, it's the only one in the shop, so you're kind of left there. Snipertron is, or sorry, the Latron is pretty much a sniper, but like a shittier version of it. So either way, the Vulker wins due to the fact that it has a lot more damage in like a shorter amount of time, and just due to the fact that it's kind of the only one here right now, and the Latron is not really a sniper. So Vulker wins for snipers, yay! So let's move on to the special. You know what? I'll just do special right now because there's only two actual. You know what? I'll combine the snipers and the special due to the fact that there's only really one special in the market and one sniper in the market. So there's the Paris, which is a bow, and there's also the Dread, which is a bow. And or no, is it the Dread or is it no? What? Anyways, there's the Dread, which is a bow, but you can't really get it in the market, but you can get it from just playing. There's this thing called the Stalker, and he actually is kind of like a Tenno person, Warframe type dude. He's like the Ash and the Excalibur Warframe mixed together, pretty much. And basically, he comes for you. He tries to kill you. He's like, you're this and that, and like, I'm gonna come find you for what you've done and slaughtered all my friends, because you know he's an enemy, so you're killing all these people. Whatever. Anyways, he drops a bow called the Dread. It is way better than the Paris, but honestly, it does about 60 damage. This does about 45 damage. Now, then again, in the Void, there's actually the Paris Prime, which actually does 65 damage. So the Paris Prime is actually better than the Dread. So I don't really know what to make of that. Just either way, the Paris and the Vulker, I would have to say get the Paris in between both of them. If you want a long-ranged weapon, Paris, I would have to go with, due to the fact that it does. This is just base damage. This is like you just shoot it. If you charge it up, I'm fairly certain it's 120 damage. I'm not exactly sure, 110. So either way, this is just cooler. It's just overall better, and it doesn't really. You don't need to reload with it really for the Paris. You just pull out another arrow, and yeah, it's just kind of that. They're both kind of the same for the Valkyrie and the Paris, but if you want a sniper, Volker. If you want a special weapon, get the bow. Personally, I would suggest getting the bow because the bow is cool. But yeah, so that's pretty much all for the weapons. For all the weapons in the entire game, for all the weapons in the whole primary section, the number one spot has to go to the bolter, due to the fact that it's just super cheap, super easy to get. The only problem is that you have to be like mastery level 3 or 2, and that's like the only problem with it. And just honestly, it's just good. Like for the Heck, you need to be mastery level 4. For the Latron, you need to be mastery level 3, I'm fairly certain, along with the Gorgon. And it's just, yeah, sadly, but honestly, Bolter just wins. It just does. It's just so much better. As soon as you can get the Bolter, I suggest getting the Bolter. It's just super good. But there's a catch. Best weapon for technically the primary. If you're going by stats, the Gorgon wins. But not everyone has the time to get the Gorgon, so just get the Bolter. But the Gorgon wins, so it's a two-way tie between Bolter and Gorgon. But I would say the Bolter wins, but also the Gorgon wins. So it's really complicated. Most of the time, it's all just personal preferences. It's just like, oh, this gun looks cool, I'm gonna use it. But like, they all have their downsides and their upsides, and just whatever. Either way, um, that's the primary weapons. I am going to be posting videos about the secondary and melee weapons. There's a lot more melee weapons, and there are a lot more secondary weapons. So yeah, not to mention they can all come in like certain, like the secondary weapons, like they can come in akimbo or dual or whatever, or they can go on separate. So it's kind of like if you want to get them dual, these ones are better, but if you want to get it separate, this one is better. So it's gonna be really complicated, and it's probably not gonna be uploaded for a while. Along with the melee one, like there are so many melee weapons like in the market. Oh my, there are quite a few melee weapons, but you know, that's that. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.